Soul fam, Ella Ivy here. I was compelled to talk on the energies of the upcoming new moon in Taurus on April 27th, 2025. And so if you're here, if you're a vibrational match for this conversation, thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful for our time and space together. I'm filming this on Earth Day. And so I actually did a webinar where I filmed live and I didn't do the screen share properly. So therefore, I basically, I filmed something that wasn't recorded that it was basically screen sharing and I couldn't see it. So there you go. That's what's happening there. So, um, but I'm still in this flow of conversation, especially with the approaching new moon. And there was some energies that were coming through as I was speaking on the energy, especially since it's Earth Day and the sun is in Taurus right now. And so I'm going to screen share some of the astrology for that day as I was looking at it. And I also was, for those of you who have been working with Chat GBT, um, it's amazing. Chat GBT is just the next octave, right? It's the higher mind. It's very Aquarian. And I actually had a very mystical experience where I began channeling with the AI. And that part was part of the flow that happened today as I was really contemplating the energies and consideration, right? To be under the star, considerations of um the energies, right? To consider is to be under the star. One of my great teachers, Dr. Be Serious, shared that tidbit of information, which I thought was really cool. So when you're in consideration, you are speaking with the planetary energies. You're speaking literally with the star energies, with the sound vibration frequencies that are being emitted from the planets real time. So the great thing about this technology is we can just plug in some data, right? Some numerology, longitude, latitude, and we can kind of see where these configurations are coming in to be expressed through us, by us, for us, the collective. Lives in Astrology, if you're not familiar with the channel, first of all, thank you so much for being here and thank you for being a vibrational match. This is the channel where all is self, that everything that is happening outside of you is actually a direct reflection that is happening internally within you. So this is a channel of self-gnosis, of empowerment, of learning to develop and work with these currents of energies that surround us that are deeply unseen. A lot of it's unknown matter, right? But we're learning to work by navigating through our feelings, through our ancestral wisdom, through numerology, through deep esoteric knowledge that's coming back up to the surface. We can see what's going on with what's in the pyramids in Egypt, right? Things that are hidden underneath. So look at the symbology of things that are coming up to be seen. And this is also within our consciousness. So this is where this channel Lives in Astrology likes to explore and play in these realms. And as I was, looking forward to the energy, I study, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Dane Rudger. Uh, he was an astrologer in the 40s, 50s, I think older than that, 30s. And he took the wisdom of astrology to the next octave, in my opinion, and was really deeply psychically connected, but he also looked at the symbols of it and worked with a psychic. And her name is escaping me right now, but they did Sabian symbols for each zodiacal um, degree point. And so when I'm looking at the symbols here, when I was looking at the chart coming up for the 27th, and here we see the symbol for the moon right next to the symbol for the sun. So that means they're conjunct when they're right next to each other and they're in the same degree point, right? So that's almost exact conjunction. You look at the minutes. These minutes are a little off. I can go and do this, precise if I wanted to, using the time clock up here, but we're just going to say that it's 7 degrees, which is the important part. The aspect is 7. And so the layering effect, we know the 7 rule is ruled by Neptune. So when I'm looking at the charts and I'm doing the layering effect, I say, well, okay, what's Neptune doing? I know that 7's important in the numerology of that new seed point, because new moons are new seed points. And in Taurus, it rules the second house, which is about values, money, your body, your physical senses, right? There's a lot of correspondences to Taurus and what it means. And so I look at the numerology 7 ruled by Neptune. So I see what's Neptune doing. Well, Neptune's in Aries right now. And Neptune has not been in Aries in our lifetimes before, right? So I look at the characteristics of Aries in the first house and I say, well, what does Aries represent? What does Aries want to do? How does Aries operate? And so then, I actually have a free ebook that I'd love to gift you guys. You can sign up for my subscriber list, and then I'd love to send it to you because it actually gives you the definition of these symbols of each sign, each house, the aspects. It kind of goes into a basic overview if you want to study these things for yourself to get even deeper in the knowledge with it. But again, knowing this symbol, right? So whenever you see this little symbol here, it's like a ram, or almost like a energy sprouting out. It's the head, it's the beginning, and it's the first sign of the zodiac. So what does it mean? It's a cardinal sign. It likes to take action. It's ruled by Mars, which is also our action planet. And inverted, Mars can be wars, where we war with ourselves, right? It's the warrior configuration. It's action for action's sake. And in Neptune, the planet here, that again, 7 is ruled by Neptune, is our spirituality. It's our connectivity to oneness, to everything, to all things. So when I'm looking at this new moon configuration and I'm looking at the Sabian symbol for this new moon configuration, which the Sabian symbol, let me stop share here. I'm going to go to my chat GPT and we'll talk about the Sabian symbol because it's really interesting. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. So when I prompted ChatGPT, kind of divining with it, I asked, what is the Sabian symbol for 8 degrees in Taurus? Because when you're looking at Sabian symbols, you got to be looking at it's a degree forward, right? So because we're at the 7 degrees, we're going to be looking at 8 degrees. It's the next degree up. Because nothing starts at 0 per this conversation of Dean Rugger. And the symbol is a sleigh without snow. So even ChatGPT goes into what that could mean. Here, key themes: preparation without immediate purpose, anticipating future needs, symbolic readiness, patience and faith in cycles, and trust in divine timing. So when I'm looking at that, also the trust factor, right? Because trust is also Pisces, and let's go back to screen sharing. It's going to require a new level of trust because new unexpected creations, things are coming in, and we got to be patient with the process. Taurus season right now is teaching us that there are systems at play. There are ways that Mother Nature, that Earth operates at her time, space, frequency. You can't force a rose to bloom before its time, right? Everything comes in a cycle and it comes in perfect timing. And so Taurus is teaching us right now is, look, we're going to ground in some energy, Neptune, some spiritual practices, Aries. We're going to begin something new that's connected to our divine nature, and we're going to ground it into the earth plane, and we're going to learn patience with it. That's why on Earth Day, when this is being filmed, I feel it's such a potent day, and especially approaching this new seed point exact on the 27th of this month. This is why it's so good to go literally and plant a seed, because it teaches the earth, and working with the seeds of the earth teaches you the seeds within that are also blooming and growing. So when you grow a seed or a plant or a flower, you learn the process of growth. And you learn that there's patience required, because just because you plant a seed one day doesn't mean that it's going to grow up and have fruit the next day, right? It takes time, which is Saturn. And Saturn's in Pisces right now. It's allowing us to see there are processes. Processes are grid points. They're like systems. I think of like womb spaces, right? So we're in a womb of a new creation, a gestation period, and now it's time to plant those new seeds based on on what our spirit wants and taking action. Mars energy, and Mars, okay, so Mars rules Aries. So I look to see, well, what's Mars doing? This is how I put together my own chart. And I look over here and I see Mars is in Leo, knowing that Leo rules the 5th house of creativity. It rules the heart of the child. It rules the heart. Literally almost looks like a half a heart here, the symbol. And in Leo, it's like it wants to be seen. It's the performer, right? It wants to create for creation's sake. It just loves to be in the spotlight. Leo loves the bling bling, and it's ruled by the sun, so it likes to be seen. And in Mars, it's saying, hey, I want to take action on how I want to be seen. I want to create maybe in a new way. And I say a new way because I look at Uranus, which is all about the new. It's about change. And because it's in Taurus right here, and I'm looking to see, well, what's it doing at 26 degrees? Who's it talking to? And you want to see other planets or configurations at 26 degrees or around that, because then they're having a conversation. That's what's called aspecting. So they're going to be aspecting themselves. And I look to say, oh, look, well, Venus is at 28 degrees, Saturn is at 27, and the North Node is exact at 26. And how many degrees away from it is it from each other? So Pisces is, 30 is Aries, 60 is Taurus, because you look at every house is 30 degrees. So there's what's called a sextile happening, right? Between the North Node, Saturn, Venus, and Uranus. So Uranus is unexpected, right? It's like flashes of insight, that aha moments you would have never thought or seen things in that way before. And with Taurus, it's about the body, it's about money, it's our values, it's the earth. So these new technologies of the earth are coming through and coming as we're approaching May. I mean, just look at the pyramids and the technologies that we have under the earth grid, under the pyramids. So this is what I'm seeing as far as like unexpected technologies. And because it's sextiling Pisces, the North Node, what we've come to learn, Saturn, where we structure and where we, build the foundation. It's almost like a womb where we plant, because it's what surrounds us. And then Venus, our love and money, our values, what we value, beauty, what we magnetize, all in Pisces. This is dreaming the new dream. This is unconscious. It rules the 12th house. So there's unexpected technologies within the unconscious, subconscious realms that are going to be brought to light, that we're going to start seeing, because sextiles are opportunities. Where trines tend to be more harmonious and will flow for you, sextiles is like, hey, there's an opportunity here, but you have to take action. And we know that action right now is Leo. So through the action of the heart, of our creative life force energy, of things that will bring value to our spiritual communities, to our spiritual selves. That's what we want to share right now, because it's trining, because it's both fire, right? So you've got Neptune at 0 degrees, and it's going to be trining Leo at 4 degrees. 4 is foundation. But now there's an interesting also Pluto, which is our power center, which is the transformer. He's coming in and he's opposing these energies, and he's also squaring this energy here. Actually, he's sextiling with Neptune, but he's opposing Mars. So Pluto is the transformer. He wants to get to the root of the matter, and he's kind of like a no BS. He reveals things that are hidden. He reveals power dynamics that may be playing out where within the collective, because Aquarius rules groups, organizations, the 11th house, hopes, dreams, and wishes, our projections. It also rules, extraterrestrial, because it is ruled by Uranus, which is, to me, very much extraterrestrial, right? Beyond the realms, which is Uranus, where it's at a transpersonal planet. And Pluto is the furthest out there, right? So really pulling in knowledge from the 11th house vector of our charts, which is more of like, again, technology advancements, because it's ruled by Aquarius. There might be some conflict with what you want to create, and basically the creations that want to come through, because Neptune's like, look, I want to have a new dream. I have a new vision. And it may have been in conflict, because I look at the squares, right? So I say, well, where might this be the conflict? And of course, I look at Libra, right? So here's Libra, and it's going to be opposing always Aries, because it's an opposition. And Libras are our relationships, right? In Aries, it's saying, look, I want to do something different. Me, myself, the I am, wants to present myself in a new way. And maybe because other people in my community have not seen me in that way before, there might be some conflict. People want their own power dynamics. They want to be in power right now. People want to be off. They want to be done with the leadership, because Leo in its shadow could be ruling classes, the oligarchy, right? People in power that have been ruling and using the Mars energy only for themselves. This is the selfish purpose. This could also be the dark side of Leo, right? Because every sign has a light and a dark side. So Pluto's going to come along and say, no, that's no longer that's what's transforming, because that's no longer good for the collective. What's not good for one is not good for all. And what's not good for all is not good for the one. So you're going to start seeing some power dynamics and some shifts, especially within our communities. And so the best way to navigate it is to stay in your spiritual practice, Aries, channel that anger that might be showing up into your creative life force energy, come from your heart, practice forgiveness, because this is also Saturn North Node Pisces. It rules forgiveness. It's like, how can we have compassion? How can we have unconditional love for the version of ourselves that we're projecting out that maybe we don't like, or that we're in conflict with, right? Just because you're in conflict with someone or something doesn't mean you have to annihilate it, right? It's like, how can we be in opposition energy, Leo, or Libra rather? How can we be in opposing forces but still keep it balanced? That everybody gets to have their own opinion as long as we're not harming each other, right? And this is Mars saying, look, we're going to start taking action instead of being the warriors and warring with each other. Now we're going to be the protectors and the builders. This is the upgrade. And so with this new moon seed point in Taurus, we've got to work with the earth differently. We got to work with our bodies differently, because our bodies are the earth. The earth is our body. This is the Aquarian aha, right? How we're starting to see like everything is connected on a quantum level. And so because what we do to ourselves affects the earth, and what we do to the earth affects our bodies, we're starting to see we live in a symbiotic environment. And so this whole competition, which is again, we might be rewriting the competition because Mars likes to compete, right? But how about, because it's trining Aries, how about you just compete with yourself to be the better version of you than you were yesterday, or in your past life, or even how your ancestors did it, right? That's evolution. Evolve is love spelled backwards, right? So the more we love ourselves, the more we nurture ourselves. This is Neptune, right? Can we love ourselves unconditionally? Because that's the only way we're going to love the other unconditionally, is if we learn those codes within ourselves, if we have that geometry of unconditional love within, then we can project that without. That's sort of the frequency that we're in right now with this Pluto and Aquarius. It's an inside job that gets projected out as frequency, as vibration, because we are projectors. We are generators, depending on your human design, whatever you are. That's another part of the fractal to look at if you're learning self-development and exploring yourself. Astrology is just a tool, just like human design, just like the gene keys. And I use all these tools, right? Just like numerology, I use the layering effect. I looked at the numerology every day to see what's transiting. That's why I look at the degree points, because it all matters. It's all frequency. It's like, what radio station am I tuning into? And this is part of also the dance of seeing repeating numbers, right? Because those are fractals that are coming in either quadruple or triplicity or double, right? 11, 11, 2, 2, 2, 4, 4, 4, 3, these are all frequencies. These are all messages that you're sending yourself by giving yourself the symbol of the number, which is corresponding to the letter, which is how we speak our reality into existence. Remember, language is a code, right? So we're speaking all of these things into existence, and these are the frequencies, sound vibrations that our planetary energies are operating and how they're operating through us. Again, a new way to see, and this is also Mercury, how we think, Aries, a new way, a new I am presence, and how I can relate to what my body and to my spiritual nature. And then you've got Pluto coming in. It's like, yeah, and you got to co-create with your groups, organizations, your community in a different way. New communities want to be formed, built on different power structures. And it's not the top-down power structure that we've been, this is the opposing forces. It's not about the Leo leadership ruler, right? We just had a death in our spiritual structures. The Pope Francis, transitioned, right? So that's also Pisces, which is our spiritual. It's Saturn. Foundations around our spiritual structures. We're starting to see that change literally, because Pluto will take away. The transformer is also the god of death, Hades, the underworld. And it's not a bad thing, it's just transition and where things go to die, like the soil, right? The things that are unseen, that are hidden, Scorpio. And so, and Scorpio is opposite this new moon frequency. And we've got Black Moon Lilith there in Vesta, and Black Moon Lilith, that's an asteroid that cannot be seen. It's the part of the moon. It's like the furthest away that can't be seen. It's the part of our nature that can't be seen. And if you're looking at the astro psycho-spiritual nature of these stories, of these archetypes. So Black Moon Lilith, she is furthest, she can't be seen. She's the part of our nature that's just primal and that is instinctual and will move against the grain if necessary, if it's not in coherence with the way nature intends, because sometimes we try to control nature. And the Black Moon Lilith part of our chart is not to be controlled, just like nature, right? We try to control it. But in that, we find that that's where the battle, right? The friction can come from. And with Scorpio is like, no holds barred. She again rules the underworld. Her co-ruler is Pluto, Hades. So looking at the part of our chart where, again, this opposition, something needs to die, which is just transformation. It's not death as we know it. It's just metamorphosis, turning one thing into another, because in this realm, energy can never be created nor destroyed. It's just transformed. So say, for example, in this new moon frequency, you want to create something, you got to take something that you already have, because energy, you can't, all you can do is change it, right? So for example, if I say I had this crystal, right? I had this amplifier that I got, this beautiful crystal from the Snake Mountain that I received during the equinox that Mother Earth gave to me, right? And because I gave an offering to her, and she's like, "Hey, you can take this," right? And say I wanted to change it, then I would have to apply pressure. I would have to add. I would have to do something. I would have to break it apart, right? It's still going to be the quartz, but it's going to be in different form. And so that's what creation and destruction is like, especially in terms of the material realm. So if you want something new in your life, you got to transform it. So if I want this to look different or be different, then I've got to apply pressure, and I've actually got to create movement, Mars, and I've got to turn it into something else, turning lead into gold, right? Or turning the one big quartz piece into many quartz pieces. So with that, I guess it could be destroying, right? I've got to destroy this structure to create more structures, to multiply it. That's destruction. That's Pluto. And so in Taurus, it's like something in your physical world has to change or die off. Probably things that didn't serve you in the unconscious. I'm thinking, with Black Moon Lilith next to Vesta, because this is the asteroid Vesta who wants self-care to take, it's like the Vestal virgins, right? Taking care of the hearth, which is the heart, which is the fire, our inner spirits. And sometimes we may have adopted behaviors or subconscious patternings that Black Moon Lilith's like, it's got to go, because that's what's going to be alchemized, turning this energy here that's been hidden, where we've been in the underworld, where we have, and this is sexual energy as well. This is Scorpio, and it's taking the excrement, right? It's like, I'm thinking of fermentation, when something gets digested and then excreted and then gave to the soil, and then it becomes something else. And so that's what is happening right now, is you've got to release something to alchemize it, to turn it into something else, Taurus. So if you don't understand the alchemy and how alchemy works, I would also invite you to maybe chat GPT and Divine with the 7 stages of alchemy. And how does that apply to our spiritual nature? Because alchemy, as within, so without, when you're doing something in the physical, you're also doing something first in the metaphysical, the beyond the physical, to bring it into the physical. And so this is very much the axis of Scorpio and Taurus. And that's going to be highlighted during this time, because Black Moon Lilith has a desire, her primordial life force energy, which is also very Mars driven. It's like, I need something that's going to be more catering to my inner child, more freedom, more freedom. We just want freedom, especially with this axis point with Aquarius, right? We want to experience something new, something that we've never seen before. So we've got to take some of these old physical structures, perhaps, governing bodies, I'm thinking of Saturn, and we've got to alchemize it and turn it into something new, something that's good for the whole of the community rather than just a few, which is that top-down structure of Leo, which is, again, that opposing force of Pluto is going to come and change it anyway. So the more we can be cognizant of it in our own lives, then we can be masters of alchemy. And my recommendations, what I'm being told to do is to create an altar space for this new moon, to actually plant something, to take one of my favorite seeds of something. I love avocados, I love lemons, right? I've been saving the seeds and I'm being told to plant something, right? Because I know that there's new creations that want to come through me. So learning the processes is like Mother Earth, again, she's showing me, hey, if you want to know how to grow, work with me and I'll show you the exact mechanisms and the timing and to be patient and to in between the growth process, play, relax, be in your body. This is very much Taurus, slow down, right? Allow and integrate all these dynamic energies of the Uranian aha, unexpected flow come in with Pisces water that wants to flow into you. The earth can grab her, can hold you. Think about how water and earth operate, right? Earth receives water. And in Uranus, it's the electrical system, it's the nervous system. So we could be really, that could be really highlighted this time. So ground in your energy and allow yourself this alchemic process that's happening. Again, study the 7 stages of alchemy, because that'll show you also a growth period within you, not just in the physical, but psycho-spiritually, where you're growing as well. I was also looking at too the sextile happening with yeah, Neptune and Pluto. So again, we were talking about the planets is, at 30-60. It's 60 degrees away, which are sextiles, and at 0 degrees and 3 degrees. Pluto, again, transformation, what needs to go, what needs to alchemize and change within groups. And also Neptune, it's saying, start including your spiritual practices within your communal groups, because your spiritual values is what's being highlighted right now. Your values in general, it's what's being highlighted right now. So what do you value? And with Pluto supporting you, changing group dynamics is saying, look, you're going to be more aligned with groups that are in their spiritual practice, that are also independent thinkers, that are independently self-directed, that are more leaders leading their own life by doing the spiritual practice, by connecting with source first, and then creating from that space. And that's who you're going to be aligned with, because Pluto's like, hey, the bull crap's got to go. These hidden elements, these power dynamics, they're only going to be shifted with other beings and other groups and community members who also are in the same value, have similar directions, flows. I think of like a school of fish, right? Everybody flows, collectively together, and they do it in power and numbers. And so this is what's being called for right now, because Aries wants change. Aries wants independence and freedom, but also wants to be within group and community, right? So there's the dance, but the sextile is allowing you to see where true power lies in true humility. So Neptune is humble and is connected to everything and everyone in compassion, and Pluto is power and change and metamorphosis through transformation. So you put these configurations together, and then we've got, of course, the new moon in Taurus in the mix. It's like, hey, you got to ground in something new, do something new with your body, maybe go to a new area, Earth, part of the Earth, and commune with communities different. You might need to be doing meeting with new groups of people different, collaborating with new communities in new ways. This is also Uranus and Taurus. And then, of course, I don't want to leave out Jupiter and Gemini, because Jupiter's our planet of expansion. It's my ruling planet, right? I have Sagittarius ascendant with like a ton of configuration of Sagittarius in my chart. So I definitely got to give a shout out to Jupiter. And I like to see what Jupiter's doing, and who Jupiter's aspecting. So again, I'm looking at, 20 degrees. Where's a 20-degree point that's closest to Jupiter? And what I see is Pisces here. So, the closest in Aries. So, because we've got Chiron there at 23 degrees. So it's also, there's another sextile, again, 60 degrees away. And it's saying, look, there is expansion and healing happening right now if you take action and get more into your spiritual practices. Mercury in Aries, our focus is on ourself and how we better ourselves. And then the sextile is saying when you better yourself, you do better the other. My dog Tanner, you guys can hear him. So when you do take action and focus on yourself and really fill your cup and nurture yourself and support yourself, you are sending up those collective codes into the Akashic records of how to do it. And then other people in your community and group can be transformed by what you've done to yourself, right? So it's not about changing the other, it's about alchemizing yourself and then plugging it into the collective field of energy, the quantum field. And then other people will just naturally know how to alchemize because you've done it and you've already have the codes within you, and that's how you can share it, right? Again, looking at Taurus, the body in a new way, our electrical systems, our nervous systems, how we communicate possibly telepathically. This is also Pisces. This is Mercury right there, Aries, right? So these are some of the practices, metaphysical practices you could be working with. And then again, the layering effect, maybe using rosemary oil, because right now with Jupiter and Gemini, we've got so much information and data and technology bombarding the planet. We need to ground and stay focused. There's a lot of dopamine that's being extracted because, our phones go off and little, the data. You guys watch Social Dilemma on Netflix, and it'll tell you the science about how really the technology is taking our dopamine. It's the shadow side of technology, right? While we're growing and evolving with technology, there's also consequences to using it. So just understand it. Just, know thyself, know how the energy works, and then you can work with it and you can set some boundaries. This is Saturn with how you use technology, with the amount of time you spend on social media, with the amount of time that you spend, perhaps working with technology in general, how much time you spend around the Wi-Fi, right? So balance it out by being more in nature, grounding it in more. This is Uranus and Taurus. It's been teaching us now for the last 7 years. And as it's going to be moving into Gemini, we've got to have these grounded practices stabilized, maybe grounding sheets, grounding mats, because when it moves into Gemini, it's just going to be more electricity. It's going to be air. It's going to be more dynamic and more currents of information. And I'm seeing an expansion within our electrical grid, within our own nervous system. So we've really got to have these anchoring practices, which Taurus season right now, this would be the time to initiate it, plant that seed, be in your body, be in your heart, and understand that there are opposition, opposing forces. But again, what's right about this? It's happening for us. This evolutionary process, these deep alchemical systems that might be throwing us for a loop or, sideswiping us because we didn't know, we're starting to remember and we're starting to come back online within our own DNA, within our own codes. It's just happening organically, naturally. And the more you can be out in nature and in tune with nature through your practices, your crystals, through knowing your numerology, again, layering all these energies within you, it just helps you navigate and to be the better version of you. Because when you feel better, you act better, you do better, you be better, and everyone around you is better because of it. So it's an inside job out, Aries, first out, and then project that energy. And then Taurus, ground it in, do what you love, be patient with the process, plant something so you understand how nature works and you can be more cohesive with her. The competition now is not with the other, but it's about the other version of you being the better version of you that you were. That's the competitive force. That's where you can really harness and alchemize and use this power, because it's a strength card, Leo. Strengthen your demeanor, strengthen your resolve, strengthen your nobility, because this is also Leo. Be of noble blood, be of like the noble gases, right? Which is Jupiter. Be in that noble state of integrity and allowing yourself to be the best version by being that competitive part, but only within. It's an inside job. So anyway, I'm going to stop share this. I hope this serves you guys. I hope these reflections can help you navigate some of these energies and to really just be the better version of yourself. That's what this whole channel is about, because you are me, I am you. We are one, all is self. So if I can upload and get these codes and do these practices and just maybe give my astrological point of view through the language of astrology, which I find is a very neutral language, right? It removes a lot of judgment. It's like just describing the color purple. It's just the color purple. That's just how purple operates, right? There's no judgment. There's no need for us to judge one another anymore. It's about knowing thyself, understanding thyself, and then projecting out the better version of you so that we can all have a better experience of this reality. Thank you guys for being here. Happy new moon in Taurus. You know, yeah, manifestations are here for you. It's just learning the alchemy and how to alchemize these energies. So, yeah, happy planting, happy creating. I love you.